Our main project will allow us to take a picture of the envelope, recognize the logo or the brand, and unsubscribe the user from the unwanted mail that they receive. Donaldo will continue.
Hello guys, I'm Donaldo. As Zika said, our main objective is to make it easier for users to unsubscribe from junk mail, so we can reduce the total amount of paper, energy, and time wasted on junk mail. Junk mail, firstly, increases the number of trees harvested each year, consumes a substantial amount of energy, and wastes a big amount of time sorting, mailing, and recycling it. Based on a study from EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, Americans receive 100 billion junk mail pieces each year, which is equivalent to the emissions from 9 million cars, or the emissions generated by heating 13 million houses during winter. The worst thing about junk mail is that 44% of it goes to trash unopened or unread, which makes it totally not worth the environmental cost in terms of paper, human hours spent, and energy. I'll pass it to Javier. He'll explain more on how our app's going to look like.
All right, this is the Erado mobile app application. This is just a prototype. So we first start off with the initial screen with the Erado title and an enter button. Then we head out to the second layout, which is the main menu. But the main functionality is to take pictures. So if you click take picture, it will take you out to another layout, which controls the camera. Once you take a picture of whatever you want to unsubscribe from, it will lead out to another layout where you have unsubscribe, subscribe, and OCR, which will decipher the image. Next slide. Okay, so this is just a flow chart. Like I said before, it takes a picture, uploads to the database, processes the image, then fills out the form, unsubscribes, and confirms back to the user. Next slide. So this is the video of the Android application. It's a video background. Has a main menu, take a picture, whatever you want to unsubscribe from. I just want to point out we built this with Android Studios SDK version 28. And then here's the image. And now I want to hand things off to Heather.
Hi. So one of the main technologies that we're using in this app is OCR, or optical character recognition. And basically it gives the computer eyes. It allows it to read a picture and take that text and put it in a form that the computer can actually read and understand. So the OCR allows us to take a picture of something and take that text and send it off to our database. So I'll pass it off to Harsh, and he'll be explaining what Ionic is.
So how are we going to make this app? One way to do it is by using their native SDKs, which means that make separate app for each platform that you want to target in their own native SDK languages. For example, Android uses Java and iOS uses Objective-C. Now, show of hands, how many people are using Android devices? Okay. So, and now how many people are using iPhones? Okay, so we want to make it available to all of you. So that's why we're going to be using Ionic, which means that we're going to be using, we're just going to be coding it once and then make it available to every one of you. Ionic also has a lot of different features and tools that we can use to make our job easier. Now back to Heather.
Yeah. So some next steps that we're trying to do with this project, as you saw, we have a prototype that's in Android and was built with Android Studios, but we want to implement Ionic to allow that cross-platform availability. That way we can have it on iOS, we can have it on Android, and it'll be launched at the same time. Second thing that we're trying to do, we want to do next, is to create our own custom API that will handle calls to everything else instead of having the app do it natively on the phone. So our database is an API that we're actually sending data to, and our OCR is an API, it's someone else's program that we're using. So we want to create an application programming interface that'll do all that for us instead of having it done, on the app natively. And then the third thing we're trying to do is actually grow our database of companies that we can unsubscribe from. It requires us to have the company's name and some type of link where you can unsubscribe. So we want to have as many companies in there as possible to make it really convenient for the customer. Just take a picture, send it off, and be done with it. So that's our app. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll take questions.